the more data that you provide to quote train the camera, then the more complex it gets. So let's say I'm looking for vehicles on the site as well as people, as well as, okay, are the people wearing hard hats and PPE? Oh, are they in areas that maybe are not covered by my insurance policy? Oh, I'm also looking for materials. So every time that I add something to your point about that I'm looking for, yeah, it's getting a bit broader. It's getting a bit more complex, but it's still, cameras are dumb until you tell them to be smart, right? So it's kind of like, it's only going to go look for the thing that you told it to look for, right? If you didn't tell it to look for animals, it's not going to say, "Hey, there's a dog," right? You have to tell it that's what I'm looking for, right? So it's so-called training the data and training the camera to do what you want it to do, and then give you that information in real time. I think a lot of people hear this and they're like, "Okay, it's some fancy camera. It's like super expensive." No, it's actually trying to leverage what you probably already have installed. Or, okay, if you need to install a new camera, these are not expensive, right? And we can walk through that, but it's really leveraging what you probably already have out there.
Yeah, for me, that was the critical kind of switch point for me, because as we think about construction and we always think about a tech stack, we're always thinking about what do we need at the time that we need it. And when we're
Yeah,
talking about reality capture and having to do processing, we're thinking about, are we putting things in place? Can we go
yeah,
back, in the need of, like, Jacob, you're in facilities. So we need something in facilities and we've got to go, cut into a wall, move. So reality capture has its place, but
yeah,
it takes going off and processing. And this is more about, like, hey, what are we doing right now and how can we
right.
influence it? I know that Always
Yep,
AI plays in a couple of different areas. Tell me
yep,
how this is kind of impacting maybe like some of the other areas so people can kind of digest, because it's new to
yeah,
construction, so it's nice to
sure.
understand it from another
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah. I mean, we're doing like, think of retail, right? So we do work, for example, with Burger King, where, okay, what do they want to know? They want to know that you're being served well and as quickly as possible as you go through the process. So they literally want to know, okay, Marty walked in, he ordered, he then waited, he then got his order and he left. That took, let's say, 3 minutes, right? So how do we improve our margins? We would like to do that in 2 minutes and 45 seconds, right? We would like to do that a little bit faster if we could. So that's like a simple example. Or somebody comes into a drive-through. You're going through a drive-through. Okay, how many cars are in the drive-through? How long is it taking for a car to get through? Did Marty get the right bag of burgers and stuff that he ordered? Did we get that matched up? I mean, these are just kind of simple examples, right? Or think of a you go to a football game or you go to a basketball game. You go into a big venue. Okay, how many people are in the venue? Where's it getting too busy? How do we serve people faster? So a lot of it is kind of getting real time information about what's happening and then trying to improve, like, for example, speed of service, or make sure, let's reduce the number of mistakes that we have. And then obviously you get all kinds of safety and security type applications that are super common. And we are working with construction companies as well as big venues, as well as, I said, like retailers, manufacturers. I'll give you one more quick example. We're working with a lumber manufacturer. They want to know, okay, that could be a really dangerous environment. Of lumber comes in, lumber gets cut, then it goes over here. Is that process happening as efficiently and as safely as it could? But at the end of the day, it's about margin, right? People are trying to improve their business, right? So in construction, I would imagine it'd be like, okay, can I maybe reduce my direct labor costs or my direct material costs through cameras? How do I do that? Or maybe my overhead could be less, like my insurance policy is really
Yep.
expensive. Maybe I could reduce the cost of that by installing some cameras that allow me to know something bad is about to happen. Let me stop it. So, I mean, there's a lot of just really simple examples of it. This stuff is not that expensive to do. Cameras are getting cheaper. The software is not that expensive, et cetera.